Hey family, welcome back to another video with your favorite auntie. Yeah. Okay guys, so today we will be flipping this piece right here, which is a Goodwill find actually. Also, disclaimer, if you hear background noises, you already know auntie is filming outside. Doing this voiceover outside on the patio. So this is a Goodwill find. I paid $15 for it. Now, a lot of pieces like this will be found in Goodwills and thrift stores. And as you saw on top, it had quite the water damage. And a lot of people steer away from pieces that have water damage like that. But I'm going to show you how to repair that in this video like it never existed. Now, I'm not sure what this is actually was used for, but to me it's given bar vibes, or even sideboard, buffet, it's just storage. So that's what I'm going to be repurposing the piece for. I'm going to list it as a bar cart, buffet, whatever. And then I'm also going to be refinishing the inside because that red ain't it, sis. That ain't it. This is a very unique piece. It's very heavy, and I just saw the potential in it. So the first thing we're going to do is just wipe it down, clean it up real good. I'm using Awesome and Fabuloso mix, and I'm just literally giving it a wipe down. So today we're going to be using the orbital sander. I'll be using the 80 grit to knock down the water damage and the 120 to smooth in between my layers. And I'm going to be trying this new primer today, new for me. It's the Lowe's Home Improvement brand. And he said that I would like it better than the Kiehl's. So we'll see. But let's get started with today's class. I'm so excited. So again, this is MDF particle board, but it's very heavy. And a lot of times when they get water damage like this, they swell up. So I'm slowing this portion down for you so that you can kind of see what it is I'm actually doing. You simply want to level out the bubble with the remainder of the dresser. Sometimes it's easy as just sanding it and getting a smooth surface. Sometimes it's sanding and actually repairing the area with a product. If it's too damaged and you have to remove too much of it, sometimes you have to go back in and fill it in with like a product like wood filler or Bondo. In this case, it's just literally on the surface, and I'm able to sand it down and get a smooth surface once again. Now, let me freeze frame real quick and explain something to a couple people. Those were both great questions, sis, and I'm here to answer. Okay, so a lot of times when I'm doing these flips, the pieces look like this. They need some form of a repair or some type of fixing up. And so when I've ever promoted the use of chalk paint and how easy it is to use chalk paint because you don't have to sand. When I say don't have to sand, that just means if there's no imperfections to be sanded out. So like if you have a piece that you've taken care of at home, you probably will do real good using chalk paint. But if it's a piece like, I'm getting from like thrift stores, Goodwills, free finds, a lot of times it's just damage. It is what it is. And so just putting chalk paint over it is not that simple. So in these flips, I use primer and whatever paint that I can find available to me that either doesn't cost me anything or that's discounted to me to do my flips. Now, when I'm sanding and then priming and then sanding and priming, or sanding and painting in between and I'm sanding again, it's literally just to get a smooth finish. It's a lot of steps and it seems really redundant, but when you want to get that creamy finish, on your piece and you want it to look like you sprayed it, that's the steps you really have to follow to get that finish when you're rolling it on with a brush. And I'm just showing you here different angles because without the primer, even though while I'm sanding this and I'm feeling around and seeing how flat it is, it looks like in some points that I have gotten it flat enough and it's just fine. But once I put the primer on there, it is going to show you what you still need to fix, right? And it also bonds what you repaired. So that's the purpose of the primer. Now, again, my method may be a little bit different than somebody else's. I don't know, friend. All I know is how auntie do it, right? So hopefully that answered your question and did not confuse you. Keep the questions coming, you guys, because that helps me to help you to figure out, who needs to know what. So to reiterate what we just said, which was the scuff sanding process also not only gives us a good bond for our new paint and primer, but it also fixes any damage and smooths out any imperfections in the furniture. So sanding is important when it comes to getting the piece back to, or somewhat back to, its original state. So yeah. Also, you guys, a lot of you also have questions about the actual flipping process. And some of you also let me know that you attempted to flip furniture. I wish I could find the comment. And sis said that she doesn't have any luck selling. Like no one, I guess, replies to her post on Facebook Market. What I will say that I have noticed about selling anything on Facebook Market, be it flip furniture, regular furniture, whatever, exercise equipment, don't matter. People are visual creatures for the most part, and people like to see, especially with decor, how can I use this piece in my space? What is it going to look like in my space? With the flips, I'm very intentional with how I'm staging the piece. I want to give them options on Facebook in terms of what they can use the piece for, especially when it's tricky like this. I would probably stage it with dishes. I would stage it with the barway. I would stage it with even items that you wouldn't think need storage, right? Anything that needs to be put away. I would stage it and do photos like that so they can see, oh, wow, I can do, multiple things with this piece. This piece also, I could definitely finesse in terms of selling it for more. I could order legs and make it be a little bit taller. I'll pop them on the screen. I could, which I am going to do one other thing, but because it doesn't cost me anything. And you'll see that later in the video. But there's other things. I could have added liners on the inside. If I had some, I would have. But I am out. And again, I pick and choose what pieces I want to put a little bit of money in for a greater return. And those that I just want to film for content for you guys. Again, this piece was only $15, right, from the Goodwill. It's giving you a great class. And my channel, amazing content, and it's helping my mental state. So it's a win there alone, right? Now, the paint, I mixed the paint I already had the paint, so we won't charge ourselves for the paint. The sandpaper, I already had that, but so we won't charge ourselves for the sandpaper in this flip. So the only thing that I actually am costing myself is time. And from start to finish, I could have finished it in one day, but we're going to take 2 days to do it because the girl had to stop and feed her family. She had to cook, okay? And let me know in the comments if you've watched that video of the fire, the griddle situation. Mind your business. Back to the furniture flip.
Smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. I can't take this anymore. You say we're done, but you still want more. Baby, what I need is you out the door. This time I'm sure, yeah, that you're a bad boy, up to no good. Trying to be a man, but you're stuck in boyhood. Baby, you won't ever treat me the way you should, so it's over for good. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah, I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. What do you expect me to when I'm over you? Can't you tell by the look on my face that I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you? It's been chaos from the start. Can't believe I made it this far. Guess I needed it to see who you really are. Breaker of hearts, yeah. You made your bed, now lie in it, baby. Rest your head, let it dream about me. Cause I'm fed up with you crazy. I will never smile for you, smile for you, smile for you, smile for you. Yeah, I will never cry for you, cry for you, cry for you, cry for you.
Also, when applying primer, I like to add a thin layer. Like, I don't want to slap it on here thick. So I add a thin layer and I work my way up. Again, I know it probably will seem so redundant and seem like, oh my goodness, but all the steps and the processes are necessary, friend, to get that perfect finish. I like to add a thin layer of primer and let it dry completely. Then I add a second layer immediately on top of it once it dries before I do the first light sand. 2 coats before sanding, but only apply when completely dry in between. Got me? Okay.
Smile for you. Yeah. I will never smile for you. Yeah. I will never smile for you. I will never smile for you.
Okay, so I wanted to show you the areas that felt smooth, looked smooth. But once I put the primer on here, as you can see, now you can visually see it looks like maybe it still needs to be sanded some more. And it does. Again, that's why I prime, because looking at it, it didn't feel any of what you see here when I was working on the piece. So that's why it's very important to prime, because now I know I need to go back when I add my second coat, when I get ready to do my sand, right? It's gonna let me know exactly where I need to work the most at, because it's highlighted it for me, but it also rebonded that water damaged area from previous. So it won't get water damage again, but it still needs to be repaired a little bit more.
And now we're running on the right track. I know we never gonna look back. Oh, I just wanna have a good time. Call me whatever, 'cause I'm up for anything like that. Oh no, we don't wanna do slow-mo, so tonight we just let go. To the beat in the streets, every freak out singing like, party like, freaking out. To the beat, yeah, we freak out singing like, party like, freaking out. To the beat, yeah, we freak out singing like. Where's the fun in doing what you're told? But I don't mind even though I lose control. Oh, I just wanna have a good time, so call me whenever, 'cause a night like this, it never gets old. Oh no, we don't wanna do slow-mo, so tonight we just let go. To the beat in the streets, every freak out singing like, party like, freaking out. To the beat, yeah, we freak out singing like, party like, freaking out. To the beat, yeah, we freak out singing like. So baby, come and take my hand tonight, and know that everything will be alright when we dance and we fall and we don't.
So while that is drying, let me come over here to my little stash of random hardware from old pieces and hardware from the house. I'm so glad we did not throw out all that cabinetry hardware from the kitchen remodel. So glad, because girl, I've been coming out here, picking whatever piece I need for the piece I need. Wait a minute, no. Coming out here, picking up the handles for the piece that I'm working on, and then spray painting them and reusing them. Like, it is a win-win. And again, I'm not investing any money in a substantial piece of hardware. So it's perfect.
Freaking out. To the beat, yeah, we freak out singing like. Small city thinking, I get why you left. Small-minded people sure know how to drink. I came to the party, I laughed at the jokes she made. I wish that I hadn't, 'cause now the joke's on me. I didn't come here just so I could watch you make a mess. I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. So what the hell were you thinking then when you kissed your lips? Now I'm kinda glad you did, 'cause now you
Again, I'm doing a light sand. This is right after my second coat of primer has dried. And the reason I'm doing this again, sis, is so that I can get a nice smooth surface. And I'll show you, I believe in one of the clips, where the paint has ran, the primer has ran, or pulled in a certain area, I want to make sure I re-sand that area out. So again, I can get that smooth, creamy finish, no matter what the paint looks like. That's why I am doing the light sand in between my application. So important, so necessary.
I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. She thought she could tear us apart when she kissed your lips. Oh, what a plot twist. 'Cause now you adore me, adore me. Go right now. Adore me, adore me. Oh, so cruel. Oh, so
I do want to reiterate, I did off camera add a third and final coat of primer. after you saw me sanding in the previous clip. I added it back, and it did require a very light sand. Again, I did that off camera. Now I'm adding the paint that I mixed. You probably cannot tell on camera what color this is, but it's giving a greenish, like a greenish gray color. And I mixed several things together to get this color. So don't know, the color name or whatever. I don't know what color is coming off even on camera as I'm editing this video. But Ron seems to think it looks white. But it's definitely not white. It's greenish, grayish-ish. Anyway, it's very neutral, very modern, but it's still a little bit of color to warm up a space. I absolutely love this piece. Kind of want to keep it, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Imagine those gold legs right here that I popped on the screen. Oh, my goodness. And those gold handles back there that I am refinishing. Okay, stay tuned, sis.
This might be right. Either you feel it or you don't. Might give it a try, yeah. Our bodies collide. Baby, you're everything I want. Let's give it some time, yeah. Somebody told me I should hit and run, but they don't know, they don't know, they don't know. Nobody knows but us how we roll, how we roll. Nobody knows what we got but us, but us. Let them keep talking, let them believe that they know, 'cause they don't, no they don't, no they don't. Let them believe that they know, 'cause they don't, no they don't, no they don't. I feel so alive. When I'm with you, I'm on flight mode. You move me inside, yeah. Then we get disturbed. So many people let me know I should bounce from your world, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Somebody told me I should hit and run, but they don't know, they don't know, they don't know. Nobody knows but us how we roll, how we roll. Nobody knows what we got but us, but us. Let them keep talking, let them believe that they know, 'cause they don't, no they don't, no they don't.
This is why I do a light sand. For that reason. When that runs and dries, like that area, we don't want that on there, right? So we got to sand that off. That's why we do the light sand in between.